Hey, what's up, troopers? We're here with another battle card mini. We're here to talk about Strafing Run. Now, Mike, there's some people out there, one of them may even be me, and another one might be you, that would say that Strafing Run is little more than the poor man's ordinance. What would you say to those people, Mike?
I would say that those people are being generous. I would say, I
Sick
would,
burn.
yeah. You know, this this card, honestly, we're gonna have a hard time like giving you use cases for this card and when you should take it. There is a couple, but it's tough to, I guess, suggest you take this card over the other conditions that are presently available. Um, I think like ordinance, make sure that if you do decide to play this card, like keep it in your command hand. Make sure that you know that you have access to the effect for starters.
Yeah. I I think that there are a few lists out there that could make the argument that they don't have units that lend well to fortified or garrison or really cunning deployment, the latter of which being because they have so many units that are similar to each other that their opponent would just choose to shoot the ones without dodges in that situation and they have no
Sure.
synergy. And so if you're looking at your list and you're like those three advantages do nothing for me, then you end up in a place where okay, I guess my hand is going to be intel ordnance and strafing run. That's maybe the best I can put together. It's yeah. So like this card, like ordnance, it depends on a dice roll, and it is telegraphed. Although the effect of this card is a little bit different from ordnance because you get to measure out range 2 from it instead of range 1 from it, but you can only do it that in a single line,
Right.
which means that it's sort of harder to dodge, but you a crafty opponent may also array their units in a way that it makes it difficult to get more than 2 with any given range roller for this. Um, Unlike ordnance, this is completely worthless against vehicles, which does make it kind of tough. There are quite a few lists out there where they most of their points are spent on vehicles, or a large enough number of their points are spent on vehicles that getting at their troopers, such as for example, like their three naked B1s uh, with with the strafing run, and especially if Dooku's out there, that it's kind of hard to make the argument that this is going to be all that helpful. There are other situations though where it could mean a lot, like if it's against a bunch of Ewoks, and if Logray's dead, then they're maxing out at a Courage 2 from Wicked, who's still hanging out there, or 3PO, and you, again, we're trying hard for the use cases here, everybody. I'd say most lists probably are not going to want to take this card.
Yeah, you basically need to set up a situation. First off, when you play this card, it's almost you should think of this as like you're hitting one unit, and if you hit more than one unit, like you're feeling
It's a bonus.
good
Yeah.
about, yeah, it's a bonus, right? It is actually pretty hard to hit multiple units with this card because it's a line and not a
Yeah.
circle. um, so and your opponent has an entire turn to know exactly where the center of the circle is gonna the center where you're drawing your origination point from is gonna be, and can kind of like just kind of set up their models so that they don't get hit at the same time.
Yeah.
With cohesion, particularly with like super squad cohesion and stuff, like this is very easy to avoid. If your opponent's not actively thinking, oh, they've got strafing run, I'm gonna avoid it. It's a
Right.
little easier, but um, so it's probably only gonna hit one unit, and you need to be really sure that if you hit that unit, that this card is gonna lead to the effect of panic. Um, if if you don't feel like strafing run is going to lead to panicking that unit, if you roll like one or two hits, um, playing this card is not worth it that turn,
Yeah.
and perhaps, um, yeah,
This is one where, because it doesn't involve damage, I think that there is more of an argument compared to Ordnance to consider saving it for like the end of the game. The end of a Legion game can get sort of tight when it comes to suppression tokens. Like these units have been shooting at each other the entire game. There are fewer units left that can matter, and so there can be situations where like putting that strafing run token down to the beginning of turn 5 on the POI that's going to matter most could really affect things. And so it may be worth waiting, but generally, you're like Mike said, you're going to want to be in a place where you can actually plan on having a good chance at panicking a unit, because otherwise, there really just isn't a lot of utility in this card. I guess again, there may be other examples where piling on, if you feel like you can pile on multiple suppression tokens onto Courage 1 units to the point that they're only getting one action, then that can be cool. But if they're already on the POI, then they don't really need to move anyway. So I don't know.
The only use case that I could think of that I feel like this card would be like actively kind of cool, is one in which maybe you're playing a bunch of Pike Syndicate and you really want to have Danger Sense on next turn, so you strafing run all of your own dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I'm not advocating for that, but like, there's some weird things that you can do with the card, and so it's not like strictly. I don't know. You can do some cagey things.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's like particularly good,
Yeah,
but
but
it
like
but it
even
is like
even
a
in a pike heavy list, I would be looking at Strafing Run and I'd be like, this could just
yeah,
be Garrison instead, or this could, yeah, it could be Garrison, it could be kind of deployments. They like dodges with those guys.
yeah.
But
But
anyway, Strafing Run, you you might want it, you probably don't. That's I
that's pretty
think
much
that's
the
the
TLDR.
summary
Yeah,
of Strafing Run.
yeah, yeah.
You got anything else on Strafing Run, Mike?
Nah, pick a different condition unless you have like a very unique thing you're trying to do with it.
Yeah, I think I can sign on to that one. Well, I hope that was helpful. A little bit strange compared to the rest of our battle card minis, but if you like what we're doing here, please consider taking a look at our Patreon. And thank you to Jacob Camp for producing. We'll see you on the next one.